Network is my review for this video. This is a classic, absolute classic, 1976 nominee for Best Picture. This is written by Paddy Chayefsky, a brilliant screenplay which he won the Oscar for. Directed by Sidney Lumet. Definitely this is kind of a movie where you feel like this is, and like, the director's over. You see this as like a next logical step after something like Dog Day Afternoon, where a big part of it was the media and how it was playing a big part in this real life event, exploding it, getting every detail of it, which was something you didn't see too much at the time. This movie focuses mainly on the media, and it's incredible how this movie, it's close to 40 years old, but it's still as relevant today as it was then, perhaps even more so. And this is the Blu-ray special edition, which I think came either a year ago, 2 years ago. I like the little tagline here: "Still mad as hell." Of course, the famous line in the movie where Howard Beale is going on his rampage. "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore." Great. A classic moment from the movie. Everybody knows that line. Everybody, even if they've never seen the movie, they know that line. Really, what it is, kind of shows a transitional period in history where news was becoming more network oriented. So kind of the transition from news divisions to being under network control, which, it's fairly common today. You see networks entirely devoted to news, controlled by networks, and all about ratings, blah blah blah, not about journalistic integrity, basically, which is it's not a good thing, but it just kind of is what it is. And I guess this is what this movie tries to establish, and establishes the madness of it, the absolute madness of it in this period in history. Basically what gets the plot rolling is Howard Beale, played by the wonderful Peter Finch, who won an Oscar for his role as Howard Beale. One of the few times where the actor won posthumously. He had passed, unfortunately, before the Oscar time came along. His character gets fired from the news division, and he pretty much just within his final 2 weeks, he loses his filter. Finally kind of tells it like it is, basically, and that kind of causes this whole eruption as the kind of underground dealings of moving the news division to network control is occurring. He's causes a huge stir, but at the same time gets a lot of ratings. So it's kind of the network executive, played by Faye Dunaway, and her boss, played by Robert Duvall, kind of deciding, hey, this guy, he's edgy, he's entertaining, he knows the news, so why not kind of give him his own show? Not a news program, but like a show. The raving lunatic Howard Beale, basically, and as his friend, a fellow newscaster played by William Holden, kind of watches on the sidelines with utter disgust, basically, knowing very well that his friend is in poor mental health, and seeing the world that he knows, the news world, the news integrity world, fall beneath him, basically, and crumble. As someone who kind of grew up rising in the ranks in the days of Edward R. Murrow, this is just insanity to him. And what the movie does very well is it does kind of blur the lines between what's entertainment, what's news, what's entertainment, what's reality, which is very, very interesting. Because kind of what Beale is speaking out against is kind of what he becomes, and he even knows the irony, and he knows in some cases he's just kind of boring people with his ravings, and at the same time he's ruining some very important deals. But because the ratings are where they are, and he's established, basically there's no way to get him off the air, because if he moves, then someone else will pick him up, and he'll get ratings for them. And it's all about the search for the almighty ratings, of course. So essentially, and this is a spoiler, but the ultimate irony of the movie is that basically the only way to stop this guy is to kill him, and that's exactly what they do. And they use that with one of their like militia groups, like the kind of like a Black Panther kind of group that is also kind of getting their own program and kind of selling out and arguing about syndication deals. So it's all very satirical, all very funny. But the way it's woven together is very, very, very amusing and very clever on Chayefsky's part. So what this movie does with the Beale characters is very good, but there's also the Holden character, which I think is a strong character in the film. What a lot of people, when the movie is of course very highly praised. I mean, people definitely regard this as a classic. But what kind of people, one thing that they kind of tend to criticize is this subplot with William Holden and Faye Dunaway's character, as they kind of start this relationship, this affair. He's a married family man, the honorable man, basically, kind of selling his honor, why not, basically, and basically becoming sort of like a soap opera, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I think that's kind of the point, because basically, since it is about the blurring between, reality and surreality, the fact that their relationship kind of turns into this kind of affair that seems like it would be a television program, even though it's their real life. I mean, that's interesting, I think, and also kind of just that it is the marriage and conflict of these two generations, basically. So you have the news integrity, news for news sake, journalistic integrity, with the network, the money, the ratings, the ADD generation, new, whatever. So it's like with them two intermingling and struggling, and as two people who represent ideals, they're two people who are people, but they kind of blur their own lines of reality. So I think that was an interesting, subplot of the movie. I think people don't give that aspect of it enough credit, in my opinion. So I really like that. And William Holden, he's really great in this role. He was nominated, he didn't win because he was also in a Best Actor category with Finch, and of course Finch won. Faye Dunaway, she won Best Actress, which was about damn time. I mean, she was like in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. One of the best actresses working. Like, she was nominated for Bonnie and Clyde, for Chinatown. So, I mean, finally that she won for something, and particularly a role like this. I mean, she is insane in this movie. She just is a ball of energy, which I really loved, and very funny and very larger than life. And the fact that she is kind of this shark, and kind of like a strong woman character, basically. Whatever, I don't know, strong woman. I don't like to use that term. Because it's insulting to women, but whatever. But she's just insane in this movie, and I love her. And also Robert Duvall is very great. And one role that really kind of stops the show is Ned Beatty, actually, who plays kind of like the higher up that you can get, who has this big speech with Howard Beale, and why me? Because you're on television, silly. And I don't know, I thought that was a great speech. And I think he was I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure, but I think he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor as well, which is well deserved, because Beatty's a great actor too. I mean, it was about time he got some recognition. Silver Streak, Deliverance, geez, what else? He's in quite a bit. I love Ned Beatty. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a fantastic film, very probing, very satirical, very thought-provoking, really. I mean, definitely, it's, I kind of, as sort of an assault against TV and what it stands for, and how it does cause people to blur the lines of their own reality, as we see through the characters, through the William Holden character, through Faye Dunaway character. It is kind of an assault against it. But, I mean, at the same time, I mean, you think, well, TV at that time was kind of the only media outlet. Now we have the internet. I mean, you're watching YouTube right now. You could go to another channel where someone's speaking about their political beliefs, political facts, or go on a blog about it. So maybe it's better now. Maybe it is. I don't know. But there's still kind of the filter with life. So I don't know. Maybe it's better today. Maybe it's worse. It's hard to say, but it's still a movie that causes you to really think about these kinds of things. And I think it's just fantastically written. Patty Chayefsky, Oscar well deserved. Peter Finch, Faye Dunaway, Oscars well deserved. It lost to Rocky, which, you know, whatever. Rocky's a feel good movie. I love Rocky. It's an absolute classic. But this I believe it should have won. This was the absolute best movie of that year, in my opinion. Maybe this and Taxi Driver, both really great films. So yeah, I mean, definitely, it means different things to different people, this movie, and I just think it's incredibly entertaining, very funny, and very interesting film, I think, and definitely a movie that will continue to stay mad as hell for another 40 years to come. So yeah, that's my review, and thank you for watching.